The Way of Will John.
Cool.
Ian Edwards, who also doesn't need an intro, should need an intro also to all of our people here who should know Ian, because we were talking, how long ago has it been since we, is it over a year now?
It's over a pandemic and a half, at least 3 pandemics ago.
Do we have more coming? I mean,
we have a war. It's the beginning of it.
So, I know. Yeah. This is, it's everything. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, last time we talked, it seems weird. I come to you in times of crisis.
And real trouble then.
But what's up? What's new? Tell me what's going on, and then we'll get into all the stuff.
I'm in LA, and I'm trying to not figure my way back. Like before the pandemic, it was like stand up in the podcast, and then the pandemic happened, and then everything changed and shifted a little bit. And then LA is like one of the slowest places to like open back up fully. There's other states that are just doing their thing. Really? They don't care, or they're just over it, or they're in some intermediate stage. And LA, it's just, it's almost back, but it ain't. Like there's, the people are willing it back.
Yeah.
But there's still regulations and stuff like that.
So can you tell me though why everyone, and I mean everyone, is moving out of California? What's going on, and how come you're staying?
I mean, that was during the pandemic.
Okay.
Like everyone moved out of New York during the pandemic, but like people came back.
Oh, I thought there was some big movement, like Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, this person, that person.
A lot of
moved
businesses.
To Texas. That's
a
just
lot
a
of
business
businesses,
thing.
And some people did, but it's weird because they're still constructing new buildings every time I drive down the street, and the cost of actual buying a place keeps getting higher. So exactly. It's like we need to lose more people for that to go down.
Right.
So, if you leave and leave.
Well, so also the last time, and for those of you who didn't catch the first podcast, of course, obviously we'll link it right down below. But Ian is a big football fan, and wait, correct me if I'm wrong. You were born in England. Were you born in England?
Yeah. I was born in England. Yeah.
Where in England though?
London.
You're born in London.
Shepherd's Bush.
Okay, I should know where that. I'm always in like the Angel, not far from Arsenal Stadium. I actually went to an Arsenal game last time I was there.
Oh yeah.
But how, if you're born in London, are you not supporting your little Shepherd's Bush team because they're?
When I was growing up, my mother was a big Queens Park Rangers fan. The stadium was like right around the corner. Okay. So like I used to walk by and like hear the people inside chanting and stuff like that. But then, we moved to Jamaica, and then we weren't getting games out there. The games we were getting out there was before it was Spurs, like Golf Crooks, Glenn Huddle.
Okay.
And then that stopped, and then moved to America, and then slowly we started getting the Premier League here. So just falling in love with the Premier League, and I just picked and fell in love with Man U. It asked me out. Like Arsenal was hollering at me, Chelsea was hollering at me, but Man U, I was like, you're the one. You know what I mean? Had a great story.
What was the time frame where that decision was made? Was that Dwight York, Andy Cole era?
Yes,
was it the treble? Okay.
Had all the ingredients, like a Caribbean player, Dwight York, straight out from the Caribbean, and Andy Cole. I'm assuming. I feel like I always just felt like his parents are Jamaican, so he had that. And then the class of '92, and it's just the right time. Fergie, like the academy grads making the team.
Those are good times.
Had everything. Yeah.
I agree. Those are good times. I mean, I'm still a huge Man U fan. It's hard for me to pick a favorite, not being from, I'm from Kansas. Like I don't have any real ties to Manchester United or anything. Right. It's just the games you watch and stuff like that. But have you seen the treble?
Yeah.
Okay, you've seen it. All right. I was just thinking to watch it over again. But speaking of that, while we get this, Kev, I don't know if you have the ability to do so. Can you throw up the EPL standings while we're talking here? Because Manchester United right now. So the troubled days are done. Those days are done. And I don't know what to talk about. You've got Cristiano Ronaldo on your team. You got a 1-1, which I caught this game. Did you catch the Atletico Madrid Man U Champions League game? Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't see Man U's goal, but I saw most of the game. How are you feeling then? How are you?
Honestly, well, listen, you gotta base how you feel, for me, on where you're coming from. And where we're coming from is like, we had a team that we felt, because we're Man U and entitled, that should be like further, right? And we're also comparing ourselves to our past, and we're also comparing ourselves to the teams ahead of us. And now I always wanted a German coach. Like, once I had a feeling that Ollie was going to go, and we got Ragnick. And there are doubters because he's never coached a major team. But a lot of those doubters are terrible pundits that only are like, can you curse on this thing?
Oh, please. Did you not notice I already cursed? But no.
I'm kind of, but I wasn't sure.
No, you're free.
A lot of pundits are like star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're like, that person have to have like these credentials or credits. And then they also forget that those people had to start somewhere to have these credits. And it's like, they only are in love with them from the moment that they have all these like trophies and these credits. So I like Ralph. I like how we play. And I don't expect us to be where we're gonna be within 3 months. I would like us to be, but I think our team, now that we have a good system, what we lack is mentality. And I can tell you the teams that have mentality right now in the league, the mentality that we need. And the teams below us.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Man City.
Arsenal
like that winning.
Has, Man City has it. And it's not that that's too easy to say that they have it, but they definitely have it. But I'm looking at like teams that like are on the come up, or they just need that like, it's kind of easier for Man City to have it because they bought the people to have it, you know. But like teams like Arsenal has mentality, you know. Teams like Southampton right now has mentality.
That's true.
And like they're gonna win it. Like Newcastle is either gonna give you a difficult game or they're gonna win a difficult game, but you're not gonna get anything for free. They like Eddie Howe has turned the mentality of Newcastle around. So we need to be like, have just more mentality. Like
totally.
And that's what's missing.
Okay. All right. So you guys sit now, looks like in 4th.
Right.
At the time of recording, you guys are in 4th. That's not bad. I mean, you're well off. Man City's basically almost got it locked up, right? You're going to have a Champions League spot. We hope.
We're not going to get with. I don't want to be negative, but we just tied with Watford and we dropped points. And if you look, Arsenal has 3 games in hand.
I heard,
on us.
Yeah.
And they're only, let me see how many points. 2 points behind. And with their mentality, and they play all their games, are they going to like we have to play them so we can beat them? But our next few games are against Man City, Liverpool, and I forgot who else. So we didn't take the easy points.
I see. Yeah. Well, these are going to be make or break games. That's tough. You never like that as well, especially when you're still in the Champions League. You want to be nice and rolling. I mean, I've played in European competition as well. Played in the Europa League, and one of the best things ever was when because the level when you play in the Europa League, even these are the qualifiers still too, but like obviously it's the best of whatever a country. They're in 1 to some countries they're like number 2, right? Because of the rankings. And we played Shamrock Rovers. Actually, we played an Irish team in our first one, and like they're like the most historic, more or less, club. Very, very good. Very good players. Lots of young, solid guys. Play them. Play out both rounds. In between those games, we had a league game, right? Just like whatever you play Thursday. I'm telling you, the league game, it seemed like the other team was walking. The level of the Europa League games is just so boom, 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 boom. But the one thing I would hate to have if I was pushing to try and make it to the Champions League is to play Atletico Madrid on Wednesday and then have to win the game against Man City on Saturday to stay alive. Now you don't have any of that. You have no letdown, no break. You know, you want to have a time where you can either rest players or guys can kind of rest mentally. And that makes it harder if, you know, they're going to go Man U, Atletico Madrid, then they play Liverpool, then you play Leicester City, then you play Everton. And in between that, you play Atletico Madrid.
Well, we played them once already.
Yeah, so there it is. The second leg is the, yeah.
Yeah, we played them, then we played Watford. Watford is at the bottom of the table, and we should have beat Watford and got the 3 points. So just in case we drop points against City and Liverpool and the other team you mentioned, we would have been good, but we dropped it, and we had like 20-something shots, and we controlled the game. We just didn't put the ball in the back of the net.
What are your thoughts on Ronaldo? Are you going to see him in a Man U? Actually, to be honest, I mean, we all know it's going to depend on how the rest of this year goes and the World Cup. But before that, we got the summer transfer window. What are you happy he's there as a fan, or what's the deal?
To be honest, we didn't need him, right? But the fans were like ready to like grab torches and go down to his house and light a circle of fire around it if he went to Man City. And everybody was like trying to get the owners or whoever they knew at the Man United to do something to make sure he didn't go to City. So then he comes, and then he scored some goals, and I feel like he's good and he's bad for us, because if he was the perfect person, he'd be nothing but good for us. But because, you know, he has an ego, and some of that ego is what got him to where he has, he's kind of good and bad for us. Like, if, you know, to sit out a Ronaldo for a game or two, which he probably needs, because you're asking a 37-year-old to press an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not just asking to play forward. First of all, he was a winger who just started playing forward, and now we want him to press.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to not start. He always wants to start. Like, it looks bad if he doesn't start, but he looks tired in some of the games. Like, even like, listen, all the team is tired. That's why we have fall-offs. Like, we start games strong, and then we have fall-offs. So if all the team is tired and they're younger than him, then he's tired. So then, but the problem is, how much is the board demanding that Ronaldo play? How much control does the coach really have? And that's the problem. It's like the board doesn't give the thing completely to the coach.
Yeah, exactly.
About marketing, and Ronaldo has to play when probably there's some games he should sit down.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I didn't think about that as much. You know, the pressing is a huge thing because he looks good to me. Like, when I see him moving, I see that he looks like, okay, this dude looks sharp and he's dangerous. And the amount of goals and the type of goals that he scored to keep Man U alive earlier are priceless, right? I mean, those are, it almost seems like you wouldn't be there right now if he wasn't there. So yeah, this is what I said almost 2 years ago when he was still at Juventus. And I think I'm like 25% right now. I said that coming to 2022, here's what I expect. I think I said that he would leave Juventus before coming to the MLS. I got that right. I said that in 2022, I did not expect his season to go the way that it, you know, the best, like an excellent one. And then I said he would go to the World Cup, and that the World Cup would be in the winter that year. And that as soon as that's done, whether he has a good one or a bad one, he's gonna be in the MLS. That was my prediction. He'll turn 38 in January before the season starts in the MLS. It works out perfectly. If he goes and has a good World Cup, you know, anything's possible. I don't know if they can win it or do it. I don't really care. It's just the window. It just looks like it lines up perfectly. He might even leave again, Man U, before in this time. I don't know that would be a smart thing to do, to be honest, to try and move again at the end of this before a World Cup year. I don't know. I don't know what you think, but that's my theory.
I'm not like mad at Ronaldo as far as like if he stays another year, right? It's just, Ronaldo's an amazing physical specimen. Like maybe even one more year, like say this season finishes, like you get better when you're used to something.
So true.
And he might be even better, even though he's 38 next year, just with a system like this, like figure out oh, this is, he might just have more endurance. Like the whole team needs more endurance. So he might be even better when he's older next year, just because it's the same system and he's figured it out and more used to, first he has to rejoin the pace of the Premier League. And now we've added press into it. I don't think he's ever really been on those type of teams. Like I can't remember how Juventus played.
No. That was not necessary for him. I mean, they did a very good. I mean, excellent counter. Juventus has excellent wingers, and they got Chiesa. I mean, you had Pjanic for a little bit in there, but they are legit. The ball moved quickly, got to him, point A to point B, boom, boom. He's just got to put it away. Speaking of those guys that are extending, Ibrahimovic is doing his best Tom Brady impression. I don't know how much of the Serie A you are, but he is ridiculous. And he spent most of the season hurt, and he still has 12 goals. Damn. There are guys out with, however many they've played the whole season, and they don't have 12 goals. It's shocking because I think he's 40, and he'll be 41 during this year. Yeah, I think so. So, he's ridiculous. I don't know how much AC Milan. Do you catch the Serie A at all? You catch anything else?
This is what I catch. So it's like I have access to everything except PSG games, but I still watch the PSG games. So I could like later on, but I watch, like yesterday I'm a Real Madrid fan, but I'm really curious about Barcelona. So like last night, I watched the Barca game just because they have these kids that's just playing on they're literally Pedri and Gavi and Frank de Jong are literally. I don't know how Barcelona did it with all their financial trouble. They figured out they have the next Xavi and Iniesta, not just for Barcelona but for Spain. Like these kids at the age that they're playing and how good they are and the situation that they're thrust in and how they're embracing it is like not even some of the most talented people could handle this like this. There's a focus there and a mentality there. So it's just great to see them play. And then they just got Adama Traore, and then
Aubameyang is there.
Aubameyang, and then they got
Dembele. Dembele's still there.
Like the drama of Dembele is like it's like you're not staying, get out.
Yeah.
You didn't get out, we'll never play you. Yeah. All right, we'll play you. Yeah. We'll play you, the crowd boos. Then yesterday he had 1 goal and 2 assists, and the crowd is cheering him. Because
it's nuts.
He's in a difficult position because Laporte wanted him to sign. He didn't want to sign. And can you blame him for not wanting to sign yet? Like you are a shitty club. You posted Messi's contract to shit on him. Like you lost at Messi. You've done bad financially. And I know the fans are loyal, but they have to realize that the fans can't choose another club. So this is their club. So they're stuck. But fuck Barcelona. Like if a player doesn't want to sign, like the fans gotta have some understanding. They don't have to, but I understand.
Totally. I mean, I got the whole drama too. I actually was shocked that they couldn't figure out something to get it to move away, but it's crazy to see how that stuff happens. And you were talking about coaches. I'm curious if this is a correlation here in what you do, but you know how you were like, who has the real power at Man U? Is it Nike? Is there a Nike rep that comes in and says, hey, I'm sorry, but he's gotta play? Because I've seen that. I've witnessed stuff like that. Or is the board come on and say, why would we go get Ronaldo if you're going to sit him out for 2 games? You can't sit out. Or is Ronaldo able to, at this point, to say to the coach says, hey, I think it'd be best for you to rest. And he'd say, hey, maybe you should take a rest. Like, or if I don't play, you're gone. You know what I mean? There are all sorts of situations I've seen all of them. So you never really know
I think
who.
all of those scenarios are happening.
That's probably true. That's so true.
All
Yeah.
of them are happening.
Yeah. I will, because I was going to ask if there's a correlation between stand-up. Is there, because trying to get a gig and then getting a gig and then now you're in, is there somebody else that pulls the strings? Like, because on the outside, most people just, when they look at like a soccer game, a football match, they're just going, oh, these are the best players on, you know, like the best guys are the ones for the job. And it's like, well,
Right.
yeah. And no, you know,
Right.
I've played on a lot of teams and like, yeah, you know, but also no, like that guy's, his uncle is the director. Oh, he's married to this, you know, there's all sorts of stuff. So you guys have that same sort of fuckery in stand up, or is you avoiding that?
Yeah. Like, damn, first of all, just hearing you say that, I know, I'm not saying like, I'm like, damn, I identify with it. And I was like, that must suck. Especially if you've been in situations like that where you should be playing, but you know,
What are you gonna do?
What you're gonna do? There's nothing you could do, and then fans think like the team picked is the best team, and that's kind of messed up. But as far as comedy, there's definitely, when we like look at like who gets specials, like there's a weird thing going on where not the best comics get specials. Like when you look at like Netflix or just even Comedy Central before, whoever's in charge of comedy, you would think that they would always put the best comics on, but it's down to like sometimes the best comics get on and then sometimes the best comics don't. It's just based on your representation, like where you are, like how much influence you have. Maybe if you have an online following that could help get you into the race that you should be in anyway, or if you don't have the following, it keeps you out of the race that you should be in anyway. So
yeah,
people think they've seen the best comics, but you're not always seeing the best comics. For the most part, you know, some of the best comics are getting specials, which specials are the things that propel you. But the beauty of the internet is that people are finding a way to be heard in the way that they should be heard. And that's what I like about it. Even though that's also starting to get like regulated, and you got to be friends with the algorithm or else.
Yeah, you got to call the algorithm and they got to get you there. I know exactly what you're talking about. And
you got to take the algorithm out to dinner.
Exactly.
You know, you got to buy his mama a car.
And they're not all the same either. You got to TikTok's algorithm is it likes to date differently than YouTube's and Instagrams. You can't even understand. I mean, you're right, because it's just a weird correlation for life on how some of those things, because you said it's like maybe you don't have the following, but you deserve to be there. And so then you have to build a following in order to get in the race. And you probably shouldn't have, right? Because meanwhile, while you're trying to build up something to say, hey, you know, will you look at me? You got people who don't deserve it getting their first jobs in the race and stuff like that. And it's weird because in life, no one cares though. Like at the end of the day, they're going to either say, did you make it as a stand-up comedian? Did you make it as a pro athlete or not? No one likes that guy at the high school reunion, the college reunion going, I could have, I could have sold out 150,000 people, like, or I could have played pro.
Like, why didn't you?
Yeah, they're gonna say, why didn't you? And you'll have an excuse and it'll still be shit. And so no one really cares, you know? And I do find that weird. But I was gonna ask, do you prefer then now, because you're right about the whole special thing. There's so many specials now. I mean, I'm 36 and I'm still playing, right? And it's a new world also now when you have guys over their 30s that are just like, why should I stop? Though I feel fine, you know, like I feel fine. That's that's changing. That wasn't like that. It wasn't like that 15, 20 years ago.
They used to retire you once you start heading to 30. Like 30 was just like the winding down period. But
exactly.
But definitely. So you keep yourself healthy, you eat good, and you.
The thing is, though, I don't know how many of the reason it's changing now, I think, is because those of us that are in our 30s now that are playing new in our 20s, like Ronaldo's been eating chicken and rice or whatever and nothing else, like bland chicken and fish for a very long time, right? And I avoided drinking. I avoided drugs. I avoided all that stuff because I knew I wanted to play for as long as I want, because this is the best job for me ever. Because today I went out in the sun and just hung out with my friends and kicked the ball. And then I went home, and I went home before you even had lunch, like before you went to your lunch break. Right. So that for me is that's a great setup. So I think that part of it is advances in technology, understanding of health and all those things. Every generation gets a little bit better, with their understanding of how this and that and yada, yada, yada. So I think it's just going to change. I think what's going to end up happening is that it won't be 30 anymore. It's going to be, all right, let's start checking people out at 35, and then 40, it will be a new, like, whoa, because it's just clear across the board. If you look, there are all these guys just playing. Danny Alva's coming back at this time. Like, it's unheard of. You did not see that.
Like, I'm looking at Danny Alves at Barca, and I can remember when Barca was like, hey, man, thank you for your years of service, but you're at a certain age. Peace. Yeah. And I was like, he's still fast. And then the team that thought he was old when he was 33 brought him back at 38.
Yeah.
And he killed Atletico Madrid. And then yesterday, he just knows the system. He's still fast, and it's like he came back basically on a free. And it's like he should have never left. You just thought he aged out. And then what Ibrahimovic is doing, you just mentioned him at 40 yourself, and
Frank Ribery is in
Lewandowski.
It's happening across the board. Arjen van Robben, I think he just got bored. I don't know if he still continued, but the dude got bored, so he just retired. And then pandemic happened, and he probably was sitting at home just like, what am I doing? Like, why did I didn't have to stop. So he came back.
Where is he at? He's one of my favorite players of all time.
Oh, what a great player, huh? Everybody knows what he's going to do, but you still can't stop it, right?
Can't stop it. Yeah.
He went to, I think it's in Eredivisie, his old hometown club in Holland. But then the pandemic happened. I lost touch. I mean, I was following. But Frank Ribery went to Fiorentina after leaving Bayern, and then he just joined, I think, Salerno. So Kevin will check for us and let us know. But he's captain. He's captain of the Serie A club there. Playing well. So anyway, long story short, everybody is, things have changed. That's just, we're just going to have to. Okay, so Robin did officially retire. But what I was going to ask, though, I didn't get to ask. Did you think it was better back in the day with you got to be the top of the top comedian, then we'll give you a sitcom, and then we'll get you, a special? Or do you prefer this now? Hey, lots of people got specials. Good luck. You just better make your special better than everybody else's special. What did you prefer? Because I mean, there's less chance for that, but you get that quality is just, is just there.
Well, here's the crazy thing. Like, I felt like before, when they gave specials to people, they were the right people. Like when you look back to like all the HBO Half Hour specials, those were some really special specials. But like I guess they did it on purpose when they called it a special, right? Comedy special. But that word rang true. Like, you'd be like, damn, like when Damon Wayans did his, or Martin did his, or Robin Harris did his, or just anybody. There's white comics too. And you're like, damn, these motherfuckers are funny. Like I think Jim Carrey did one. And it's like these were top people. And then there's some stations that needed programming, so they gave even more. They it's like the MLS, right? So the MLS starts out with, say, how much teams did they start out with?
I think we started with 8 or 6. I think it was 8 though. Yeah.
So then it got to the point where they increased it, and then the more you increase it, or the more the less quality comes in, because you have to stretch this
for sure
the concentration of this thing over a bigger area, so it's just less concentrated. So then they just started letting in people. But if you're gonna let in people that are not as funny as the top people, let in the funniest next set of people. But that wouldn't always happen. So now you have the internet to like balance things out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
just wish I'd used the internet more earlier.
Really? to have
Yeah, yeah,
establish yourself in a high. That's a very
yeah,
very
yeah.
good point.
So that's me, you know.
Sure, sure. I mean, it's hard. I mean, now because we just live in this world where the transitions are so huge. I mean, now we're doing this through Zoom. Zoom didn't really exist 5-6 years ago. Did it? I mean, I don't really know. Just poof, right? And then now,
Yeah,
we had a guy in our company say, "Hey, we should probably be on TikTok." So we were just like, "All right, do it." And we kind of got there pretty early. Now we have 200,000, TikTok
damn.
followers, right?
Hmm.
And the majority of it right now, we're kind of focused on language content. I speak a whole bunch of languages. So the last time, that's another cool thing
Damn,
that I speak 9 languages
damn,
uh,
bro.
currently. And
That's it.
that's all. I mean,
You
I'm
got to
trying to,
you got to get it together, bro. I
I'm, I'm,
mean,
I'm,
that's.
I'm not at my goal. I'm not at my goal. So you know, uh, so yeah, things move so quickly, but yeah, just like on YouTube, we started ours, I think in 2016, I think. And thank God we did, because with each second, there are so many more new channels. And it doesn't mean that they're better. I'm not
Right.
saying that we're not, up there and that we don't deserve it. We do. It's just, there's so much noise. Every
Yeah, it's
new
a lot of
year,
noise.
there's so much more noise. And like we said about the algorithm, you might have the best. And I have seen some great stuff, and there's just 10 views, 20 views. I'm just like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hope this person doesn't quit,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, because that's just how it is. But what's the plan for you then over these next few months? Are you going to be back touring? Are you getting used to it? What's
I just did not this weekend past. Last weekend I did the Grand Comedy Club, but this weekend I'm gonna be in Austin. I'm gonna do the Creek and the Cave in Austin. So I'll be there for the weekend. And then I'll be back here. I might end up writing on a show, and then but I still have to like do the local spots like the Laugh Factory and the improv and the comedy store, whatever I can do, just keep it going for those weeks that I end up writing on the show.
yeah.
So
Okay.
and then for just putting out content like on my Instagram and my TikTok, I have these. I just making content and putting it out there so
I
that
know it.
if I can't be on the road, then at least I can be somewhere and people can be like. So when I do go on the road, people want to come out and see me.
Exactly. Yeah, that is a big advantage now, that you can basically set yourself up for perfect success, which is probably
Hmm.
great. I mean, to reach your level, that
Hmm.
you could actually do that. I mean, I'm sure I don't think I've ever heard any of your bomb stories. I mean, all comedians have these crazy bomb
Oh yeah,
stories.
I
Was
bombed.
it? I mean, I have no doubt, right? I mean, I've had
Yeah.
horrendous games that I probably can't even try and remember. But like,
Hmm.
what do you have one that comes to mind, or was there one that shaped you? That you're just like, all right, if I don't get my shit together right now.
I mean, I guess I don't know if they. I just there was just when I was coming up, comedy was less organized, so there's just like a lot of tough rooms, and I don't know. I just like the way I accepted the bomb.
You didn't blame
Like
anybody. You didn't look out for
yeah, yeah. It's
excuses.
just like
Okay.
and it's funny how like when I was bombing in New York, just learning like so I started out in a white club, then I was getting reps in these white clubs, and then some black clubs popped up, and it was a different kind of rhythm and a different kind of comedy. So then I had to like acclimate. So acclimating meant bombing. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
and then you get it, and then you can like do both. But then, so I'm like, all right, I'm killing in the white clubs and killing in the black clubs in New York, right? And then because you're killing in New York, they're like, hey, we got this show in Philly at this college. So it's me and a bunch of killers from New York, and we go to Philly. But at the time, my opening jokes were all about being Jamaican. And I'm in Philly at Temple University, and none of these people never met a Jamaican in their lives. So you're in a auditorium packed with more people than you played to in a club, and you do your first two jokes, and it's just silence,
Oh,
and the next two jokes is Jamaican too. that's coming after that.
Did you flip? Did you flip it? Did you improvise, or are you just like, I'm just gonna run my set?
It's you're so new. The surprise is so overwhelming.
Yeah.
You can't even make the adjustment. Plus, now you know. Oh, I came here with half an hour material, but it's really just 10 minutes when you cross the line and leave town, because that's all they can. They're not going to be able to relate to 20 minutes of this. And then, is the 10 minutes really strong enough to get their attention after you just done 3 jokes that they're ready to boo? Like they're warming up. They're boo 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 boo. You know,
the whole Philly thing.
So then, I definitely got booed that night. Everybody else killed, and you have to ride home with them in the van.
Yeah. Talk about it.
And you're the one that bombed.
Oh God, what were we on about? You were bombing, fun bombing. Yeah, I don't know the equivalent of bombing in soccer. Maybe missing a PK or like hitting it way over. No,
like yesterday bad. During the 𝗃𝗃𝗡 in the League Cup final, taking the 11th penalty. Yeah, Liverpool versus Chelsea in the League Cup final. Great game all the way through. 2 sessions of overtime, and at the end of the second overtime, Chelsea switches goalkeepers from Mendy to 𝗃𝗃𝗡, and they did this in the Super Cup final and won. 𝗃𝗃𝗡 made some saves.
Okay.
Because statistically, even though Mendy's a better goalkeeper, 𝗃𝗃𝗡's a better penalty stopper. Gotcha. So then they put in 𝗃𝗃𝗡. He doesn't save any penalties, but all the penalties were like perfect. And so then it goes down to both goalkeepers have to take penalties. And the Liverpool goalkeeper scored his, and 𝗃𝗃𝗡 kicked his over the bar. Liverpool won.
Oh, that's awful. I'm laughing, but God, that's not right. That's so hard. Like also, goalies are usually pretty good at PKs. I don't know if you know this. Yeah, they mess around. I don't. I've never heard a bit on goalkeepers, but if you go to a training, like just watch what they do. We give them so much shit. Number one, for being really weird. Number two, like we'll get done with like our warm up, and like we'll get done with a little bit extra running, and like you look over to the goalies, and like they might just be standing talking. Like they might just be like having a little chat, a little pass back, a little roll around in the whatever. But when they're on some of their breaks, they'll take PKs a lot of times. They'll just, and because goalkeeper training is very specific, and you have to hit, you got to hit like when you right on the spot, like that's their thing. It's just like shoot it straight to my hands, and so they're normally really accurate with their stuff. That when they're PKs, they normally just have like, I shoot upper 90, left corner, and most of the time they're gonna hit that percentage around there. But yeah, we give them so much shit for never doing anything. But most of them are crazy. Most goalies statistically.
When you say crazy how?
Oh,
because I've heard that goalkeepers are crazy.
But they are. So here's the thing. From my understanding of playing in more than 5 countries and seeing this play out everywhere. It has never gone wrong anywhere. The goalies that are crazy, the ones that seem a little off, they're into some weird stuff. I'm not talking like crazy sex stuff, but they're just like weird. They're just weird, like into stuff that most of the guys are not. When you can see that on them, that's fine. It's the goalies that appear to be normal, the ones that you can't figure out what's wrong. He comes in, he says everything's fine. He just seems like a normal guy. That guy's insane. He's insane. And so I'll give you 2 examples. One goalkeeper, this is on our other podcast. One goalkeeper in this country, a chicken somehow is a lower league game. A chicken ran onto the field, and it was exactly like a Zuma incident, except for Zuma kicked the cat, right? I haven't seen the video and everything. This dude killed the chicken and then threw it over the fence. He ended up getting a whole lot of trouble, all the animal rights and all this stuff. All right. That's one. Field player's not going to do that. Field players, you've seen the field players. They usually just take them off, get them off there. He killed the chicken and threw it over the fence. Another one. You got a horrible story in Brazil where a goalkeeper murdered, I don't know, I think a couple people or his girlfriend and a couple. Yeah. They're another species. I know I'm just picking two right now, but like if you just leave me here, I'll come up with a 10 point list, and I don't know what it is. And we talked to the goalies about it, and a lot of them say stupid stuff like, yeah, I've been getting kicked in the head since I was a kid, or I liked being alone. I didn't want to be running around on the field. I'm working smarter, not harder. Like you guys run and I stand. Well, I don't know. I really don't know what it is. But I've heard that it's the same for hockey. I asked some guys, and they're like, yeah, they're a little off.
Yeah, because they're like the child. It's almost like they're being foster cared. Like they got adopted into a family. So it's like with their position, they belong to the family, but they don't. You were born. Those are your real mother and father, but they adopted me. I'm just like this side kid. Like I'm in the family. I eat at the table. We go on the family trips, but I don't have your genes, so I'm different.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. They're good characters, though. Always up for good stories. But listen, where should we throw people? Where, if people want to see more of you? I mean, obviously, we'll link to your Instagram and stuff like that. But where would you want them to go check out?
Just Instagram and TikTok. The TikTok is like Ian Edwards Comic 1.
We'll find it. Okay.
Yeah. And there's two of them. One is not active. There's an Ian Edwards Comic, but it's an Ian Edwards Comic 1. And then numbers is low on that. So I'm trying to get that up. But Instagram, Ian Edwards Comic. And I tweet about my podcast at Ian Edwards Comic on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, dope, man. I this coming up, we'll finish our season just like everybody else here in Europe, assuming no World War III.
Be safe out there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're not too far, but yeah, hopefully hopefully it's the end of it for now. I'm surprised we didn't even we did talk about it. Maybe that was before, but I will maybe be out in LA this summertime. If we are, we'll definitely
holla, fam.
Come by. Do you play ever?
Here's a weird thing. I'm about to play today. A friend of mine, he's another comic. His name is Drew. What's Drew's last name? Why am I blanking on Drew Lynch? And he just hit me up midweek, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm have a soccer trainer who's gonna train me today." He's like, "Do you want to come? It's Monday, like 1 p.m." So I was like, "All right, yeah." And I played once in October, which I hadn't played probably in 5 years before that.
Yeah.
And a bunch of comics, and we're always talking about how much we love soccer, how much we're into the game, but we never seen each other play. So I was like, I gotta go. And on the way there, I had to stop at the store and buy a pair of boots. I didn't even have boots.
Nothing.
Like I tried both feet of boots on when I got there. I tried one on in the store.
Yeah.
If my right foot fits, because that's where the corn is, then the left foot will fit. And then I played.
Right.
I played like in October.
And then I'll get you back out. Yeah, there's they got some guys out there in Venice Beach doing some stuff, and maybe we'll do some stuff with one of the LA teams. So yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
All right. Yeah, 100%.
All right, count me in. Ian Edwards. Everybody, check that stuff out down below, or if you're watching this on YouTube, in the description box, and we will see you guys later. Peace.
All right, thanks, brother.